I am just going to do a video vlog just for myself. This is just for me. So this is day 2, I guess you should say. Just about over 24 hours now. So we're getting into the second day of no kratom. Just completely not even like 1 or 2, like I've been doing for the past couple weeks. This is absolutely nothing. And to be completely honest, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, last night sucked. Last night was just, there was no sleeping. There was there was no such thing as sleep. I was restless, tossing and turning. I felt hot, cold. I couldn't, I was just irritable. I couldn't really find any sense of comfort. I was just kind of like trying to I had lots of cravings, and I knew that the cravings were really just because, like, I just wanted something so that I could get some rest, so that, the symptoms can kind of lessen and I can just get some rest. But I didn't have anything around. I didn't have anything. It was like 2, 3 in the morning. So I was just really grabbing, like, every time I had cravings, I just grabbed like a piece of cake or a cookie or an ice cream or something. I just indulged in sweets, which is terrible too, but it was anything but kratom, because kratom has just been crippling my life. It's been crippling me. And it feels like I've been at this since going on 2 years. For almost 2 years straight, I was going at kratom. And I guess I picked it up because, I'm just an addictive person, and prior to kratom, I was battling alcohol, along other things like weed and porn, but alcohol was the one that really had a grip on me. And the Lord set me free from that. It was from that scar, it was from that pain, it was from my brokenness that brought me to Him. And I've tasted and I've seen the goodness. And when I took kratom, it was just, I don't know, I just tried it because it was like introduced to me at a church. How ironic that was. At a church, some people just kind of introduced it to me. And I remember, like, looking at it weird and funny and just like, nah, I'm good, because I was just high on the Spirit. It was just so, I had been 2 years walking with the Lord already and clean from everything, that I was like, I saw that and was like, I don't need that. And then, I don't know, just, I guess I was just curious one day, and I tried it. I tried it, and I felt really like, wow, this enhanced my mood. Like, I felt great. Like, I had a really nice, like, it was a really high up, but it didn't have any of the effects. It was like legal, it didn't feel wrong, and so I took it, and And then I eventually, like, since I liked it so much and I'm an addictive person, I just kept buying more. And I wasn't, like, I guess you would say addicted. I was hooked on it for sure. Like, this is cool, this is good, I like it. And I was taking it, like once a day. Like, it was like these little chewable capsules. Not capsules, they were like little tablets that you would chew on. And I would just take one, and I'd be okay. Actually, I believe I was taking like half, like a little half, and then the other little half later on at the night, and that was all I needed. But then, like, again, like, before I knew it, it was just, okay, I'm starting to buy more and more and more and more. And looking back on it now, I could see, like, that's where it really started. That's where it really started for me. And to make a really long story short, I just did it every day for the past 2 years. And then I found other ways of finding it. I found out that gas stations were selling them in these little feel-free bottles, or they would also sell gummies and stuff like that. And then I was taking that, and I moved to, for a whole year of 2023, I was taking those little tablets because I got it from somebody at church who was always selling it. And I would get it from that, and I would just take that. And then one turned to like 2 a day. And then, it just went that route. And then I think I remember like going off of it towards the end of 2023 and was like, nah, man, like, I don't want this anymore. I'm noticing myself, getting addicted to this. So I stopped that. But then also something about 2023 was I met this woman who I fell in love with, who's now my wife. And I'm only crying because of the amount of pain I've put her through just within this past month or two. I don't want to get too far. So I met her, and of course I would take them to kind of like enjoy my highs even more. You know what I mean? Like, because that's just the nature of who I always was. I was, back before, in my old life, I was just the type of person that everywhere I went, everything I did, it was just, it was always cool, but like, I had to smoke before I did it, because smoking just made it that much cooler, it just made it that much better. And I treated the Kratom the same way. Like, every outing I did, everything I did, even if it was on a date with this girl, like, I'm gonna take Kratom, because it's just gonna make it better, And it was, again, it wasn't such a problem at the time. So it wasn't like something that was like red flag concerning at the time. But then in 2023, I had a couple relapses with alcohol and some porn. And oh man, I got some people coming. I might have to make a part 2 of this. Yeah, people are coming, so I'm gonna have to make a part 2 out of this. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so part 2 of a really long video vlog. I used to do these. Yeah, it's 2023, right? So towards the end of 2023, like I said, I was kind of relapsing here and there again, and just fighting that. But as I was recovering from my relapses, I kind of leaned on Kratom again, because Kratom was just like that alternative route where it's like, at least it's not alcohol, you know, at least it's not weed. And again, I'm not seeing, like, the red flags still haven't hit yet. And then close the chapter of 2023 going into 2024. Excuse me, just had a really, really, really rough beginning to that year. Like, the most painful start to that year for the first 3 weeks. And in those 3 weeks, I was recovering from a major alcohol relapse. A big old bender that I did. Yeah, again, used Kratom as kind of like that, I guess, crutch, you can call it, to get me through the relapse and withdrawals of alcohol again. And I guess hangover, which was like a week-long hangover. But I just say there were like minor withdrawals, because at that point, every time I drank, it was like I always went through a withdrawal stage again. Always. Again, because when I drank, it was never just for one night. It just ended up turning into like a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 day thing. And like hammering. And so during that like week-long recovery process, I had used Kratom as my crutch to kind of get over it. And yeah, and then I guess by then in 2024, like I just, that 2024 is when I really stuck with it. Really stuck with it. And like I was just taking capsules. I was taking the shots, the extracts. I found these drinks that were, they were like these little seltzers, basically. And the seltzers, that's the one I really liked. I guess I really liked the seltzers so much because it was like drinking beer. You know, it had the same, in a can, you know, believe it or not, that was like a trigger of mine, just using the can and just opening it. There was something about it that I like. It sounds stupid, I know, but to my fellow addicts out there who know what I'm talking about, there's just something, you know, like cigarette smokers, there's just something to doing this, you know, like you don't know what it is. It doesn't even make sense, but but yeah, so I fell in love with the seltzers because of that whole, it just felt like drinking a beer. It really did. And so I just, 2024, I just drank anything that said Kratom on it. It's getting uncomfortable here. And then love this. Excuse me. And then in 2024, like I had such a, you know, me and this girl, like we got even more closer, and we ended up just kind of just saying, you know what, like let's just take a leap of faith and let's get married. And not only that, but let's move. Let's like move to a whole new state, and let's just kind of like, let's run away and get a fresh start. That's what we did. Sorry. let's just run away and let's have a fresh start. And so we moved to South Carolina. And then when I moved to South Carolina, I was so scared. So scared. And everything was just so new. And in a snap of a finger, I became a husband. I became a father, a leader. And there was just so much weight on my shoulders. And I didn't want to make it seem like I couldn't do it, and that I can handle the pressure and I'll be all right and the Lord's got me and like we're gonna make a way, everything's gonna be fine. But I was terrified, and I ran to Kratom even more at this point. And that's when it really dug deep into me, because now I was starting to create an identity in thinking that I needed Kratom just to kind of be happy, just to kind of function. I believed this lie where I was like, you know, if I was making plans, if we were going on a date, if we were doing anything as a family, or as we kept, meeting people and we were going out with people and getting to know people, that or going to work in a new environment of new people I've never met before. I mean, I know when you go to work, like when you start a new job, you're not going to really know anybody, but in a new state, and it's like, whoa, like I'm just way out of my comfort zone here. So I just believed the lie that Kratom made me fun and made things like I can get through this. And and I just did that every single day for 2024. And then towards the end of 2025, going into 2025, still, we're still just kind of going through, we're still doing things, like everything, like all that just started becoming routine. Like that was just a routine. Like there wasn't like anything really bad, but towards that moment, I started recognizing, like, man, my relationship with God has really, really dwindled. And at that moment, I could start hearing the Lord say, like, hey, you have numbed yourself so bad that you can't even feel my spirit anymore. And I heard that, and so I was like, all right, 2025, I'm going to make it a goal to just kind of slow down and get off of this and just to start new, and I can do this. And then I did, and then that was the first time I encountered like a withdrawal. I encountered a withdrawal symptom. Like I just stopped. I was like, all right, I'll stop. And then that night was like the worst night ever. And so the next day it was terrible. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't that night. It was actually that day. The whole day was just terrible. Like my morning sucked. Like it hit me as soon as I woke up. Like within the first hour, I forgot. Like, I don't know when exactly in 20. It was early 2025, within the first few months, and that day was just so terrible. And then by the time noon came, I was like, I'm done. Like, I tap out, man. Like, I gotta go get something and kind of alleviate this. And so I did. And the crazy thing is that here in South Carolina, there was this store that I found, and it's actually called Kratopia, and it's like it's like a smoke shop, but for kratom. You know what I mean? So it's not like your gas station stuff that I was getting. I was getting some pretty potent, good quality kratom, you know. And they had all kinds of kratom. I mean, everything in every different type of form, like in edibles and lollipops and those cans that I was drinking, different brands of them, extracts, the powders, the capsules, the tablets, everything, you name it, they had it all. And so when I found out about that store, and I found out about that store in 2024, so you can imagine. So all of 2024, when I found out about that store, that was my spot. That was just where I went. So around the time when I first started to try to quit this, I what was I saying? Lost my train of thought. When I guess I wouldn't even say I relapsed, because I didn't even go more than like 5 hours. But I just said, man, this is. I just ignored the spirit, and I just ignored that will. And every day I would just feel shame and guilt in 2025, because I was just still going to the store, buying it, and just living in this routine of like hating myself for wanting to quit, but just not having the willpower to quit. And I'm kind of just going at it alone, because I kind of kept it from my wife. And then I think we both had there was a moment like in the summer of 2025, we had this moment of like, we laid it all out on the table. And I came clean. I told her everything and what my plans are and how I want to get off of this thing. And you know, she was going through her own thing too, and how she wanted to quit her thing, and we were like, all right, let's do this together. We're gonna do this together. And I couldn't. I just couldn't. I would go a day and then just fall back, and then I'd be on kratom for like weeks on end, and then I'd be like, all right, let me stop. And then the same thing, I would go a few hours, and then I would feel the withdrawals, and I would just quit again. And it was like that for months. I mean, August, September, October, November of just this past year. And so for all those months, for about 4 or 5 months, it was just, I hate myself. I hate myself, and I can't bear to look at myself. And I couldn't even find the confidence to just go to my wife and just talk to her and tell her, because I just felt like a big letdown. I felt like a big letdown. I felt like a failure. I was just spending all this money, and I hated that I was spending so much money on this thing. And then so on top of like feeling like I hate this, I hate that, I hate what I'm doing, why, I would just feel more shame and guilt. So then I would just want to numb it all and continue to just take kratom, just got so sick of that lifestyle that I was living. I was like, all right, every weekend comes, I'm gonna buy an extra dosage, on the weekend, and then, and then I'm just gonna basically just be this numb, half-hearted shell of a person. Go to church every Sunday and just feeling like a big failure. Telling myself, okay, this is the day, this is the day, this is the day. So the past 3-4 months has really been hurting me and weighing down. And I took a step, and I started being discipled by somebody and met with somebody, I guess you can call like a mentor. And, just started kind of talking to him about it, and that helped, of course. And then we got to around Christmas time, and at this time, my wife still didn't know anything. She thought I was just kind of still pushing and trekking along with her, and she would ask me sometimes, like, when was the last time you took Kratom? And I would be like, yeah, I did last week. I did it, I messed up. And those were the days where she would see me kind of down on myself and stuff. And so she would just be understanding, and, but I wasn't telling her she didn't know to the extent of the real truth. And then, Christmas time comes, and I told myself that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to quit. I am going to quit this thing because I am so sick and tired of this. I can't do this anymore. It's ruining me. It's ruining my life. It's ruining my relationship with God. It's ruining my relationship with my wife, my family. It's inhibiting me from being the person that God wants me to be, and to just serve our Lord Jesus Christ, and to just be used by the Holy Spirit. And I hate that because I miss that. I miss my fire. I miss that first love that I had with him, where I was just so bold and courageous and was willing to talk to everybody I saw. I couldn't keep him out of my conversation. Even if it was a stranger, I would just share the gospel with them and what he did, and give them a brief testimony of my life and what he did for me, and how much truth he's woken me up from, and the reality of the spiritual world we live in, and the spiritual warfare we're in, and everything he's shown me and woke me up to. I missed it. I miss it. I still miss it. And I have nobody to blame but myself. So I told myself I was going to quit, but then the holidays, I don't know, it's just something about Christmas time and New Year's time where I just get triggered to all right, I want to do something. I want to do that again, Because even when I was drinking alcohol, it was the same way. Around the holidays, it got harder because it's the party time and the fun time and the dinners and the gatherings and all that stuff. And it's man, those are the hardest times. So Christmas came, I didn't quit. I kept doing the whole, all right, let me just grab 2 or 3. And I'll be all right, and then I'll quit tomorrow. Then tomorrow will come, all right, let me grab another 2 or 3 of those little cans, the little seltzers. I was let me grab 2 or 3. And then it turned out to be 6 or 7. And then the next day would come, and it's all right, let me, it was just the same process. And then the same, okay, I'm going to tell my wife, I have to tell my wife, I have to tell her. But then I didn't do it. So then because I didn't do it, it was just a cycle. And then New Year's came, so for a whole week, you know, boom, there, like that whole week was just wasted because I had those 2 weeks off of work from vacation, and that's what I was gonna do. That was the mindset of like, all right, I got 2 weeks vacation. This is the perfect time to go through what I gotta go through the withdrawals. I don't have to be at work. I don't have anything to do. I can just do it, you know, go through it. And it's a wasted opportunity. Then the next week, New Year's week, comes. The same process. The same exact process. All right, 2 more this day, 3 more this day. Sometimes it turned out to be like 6 and 7 or 8. And then today's January 5th, 2026. And if you remember, I said this is day 2. So yesterday, I had like 1.5, because I had half from the night before, which was the 3rd, on that Saturday. So I had 1.5. I took half of it in the morning, right before church, which was what I did all the time, because I just, again, when I'm in big crowds, I just want to numb myself and just kind of pretend like, hey, like, this social anxiety, a lie. The social anxiety that I have, like, it would subside if I just took it. So I took that half in the morning, and then I had 1 can that I was kind of like sipping throughout the day. And then around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I finished it. And then I came home from softball practice and got ready to go to our first life group. And that was the most powerful experience. There was something about that life group that I could feel something shift and change. You know, I kind of opened up about it to the men. I kind of told them my struggle about it. And God is good. There was somebody in the group that has the same struggle. And so I was able to kind of share that. And when the guys left, two gentlemen, 2 brothers of mine, they just pulled me aside and they just started praying over me. But man, that was the most powerful prayer. Just so powerful, man. And I felt something spark inside of me. Like, my hands just like they were kind of tight in the prayer, and then like as they kept going, like it just started letting go and just started turning into praise. And I guess at the same time, that was me saying, Lord, I let go. I let go. I want to let go of this. Not just the kratom, but the shame, the guilt, this false identity. I let go of it all. And I just went through it, man. And I said, okay, here I go. I'm going to do it, Father. I'm going to do it. And so that night, I went home. I still didn't tell my wife. I still didn't tell her. I still didn't get the courage to tell her. I mean, I kept like dropping hints and kind of speaking in code, but I wasn't just being blunt and straightforward with her. And so I went through the night kind of, I started watching, I was watching my Ravens game. It was the last game of the year versus the Steelers. We lost by a missed field goal. It was like right there, but besides the point. So that hurt me. And you know, in the midst of that, I was just like, it sounds dumb, but I was like, God, like, I know you're gonna use that loss to kind of challenge me, because, again, like, in my old addictive patterns, which, mind you, just kind of just throw it in there, Kratom it brought back all the same properties and tendencies and habits that I had when I was drinking. I was hiding it. I was spending a lot. I was just, I couldn't function without it. I was overdoing it. I mean, you name it, the withdrawals. Just everything about it it had all the same elements. So, and same kind of like triggers, because at the end it's like psychological, and it's like your brain kind of just reacting to that. And so when the Ravens lost, I was like, God, like, I see that you're gonna use that as a challenge for me, because obviously I wanted Kratom after that, to just numb that pain. Yes, because it's a football team lost. Again, back in my days, like when I was drinking, like I would watch the games, and obviously I'd be drinking with my buddies, and it's happened before where I got heartbroken and from a Ravens game, and I would just drink all night, man, just get plastered that night. So the same kind of properties was like, man, I want to just numb that so bad. I just want to drink all this Kratom and just kind of like, forget it. And so I was like, God, you're gonna use this as a challenge. And so I went through it. I went to the bed. I was talking to my wife about it. I was talking, we were having a good conversation, and I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep for the life of me, man. I couldn't. I got another group of people coming. This is already 30 minutes. I'm about to wrap it up right now. Hold on. Let me get back to this. I got you. So, yeah. So, I couldn't sleep at all. Just restless, irritation. That's when I knew it. I was like, the withdrawals are coming. This is it. It's here. It had already been like 9 hours since my last drink, my last dose, and I was like, all right, it's here. I'm catching the first wave right now, and tossed and turned. It was about like 2-3 in the morning. I gave up trying to sleep, so I got up out of bed. I went to the living room, just started watching YouTube, and I turned on like a bunch of YouTube videos of other people who were vlogging, like what I'm doing right now, vlogging their Kratom withdrawals experience, and their same kind of testimonies, and their same stories, and their same struggles, and their reasons, and like there was so many relatable people that I saw. Like so many people that were going through the same kind of hatred for this substance, and why they wanted to quit, and what it was doing to them. I mean, it was so similar. And so I just watched hours of those things, just hours of it. And yeah, so that helped a lot. And I was just kind of praying, and just started crying and started begging the Lord, like, to just keep me, to just hold me, keep me strong, keep me focused, and to just, Holy Spirit, just remind me of why I'm doing this. And so So about like 6:30, 7 o'clock, you know, my kid got up, my wife woke up, and they were getting ready for work, and that's when I was able to kind of like, to just kind of close my eyes, and I caught some sleep. I got like maybe an hour and a half of sleep. Woke up like around 8:30. I couldn't go to work. I was like, I cannot go to work. I just can't. So I had to call out, and yeah, and so, you know, that's when I just decided to tell my wife about it, because she was kind of curious. Like, she asked me, she's like, hey, like, you know, she sent me a cute little text in the morning, and at that point, I just felt so broken. I just felt so like, man, I have to just tell her, especially when I missed the opportunity last night. And I was like, I have to tell her. I just have to tell her. And I told her, and then it just turned into this wild fight, which is understandable that she's hurt. She feels broken. And that I can't be trusted, and it hurts, because I get it. And I'm not mad at her for that. I'm not mad at her at all. I get it. And so I am willing to face whatever I need to face to earn that trust back, and to do what it takes for this family. I'm willing to do it. And so I'm not going to run away from this. And so this morning, I you know, just kind of started, you know, was just kind of irritated, you know, after going back and forth with her, and was just kind of sad and mad and frustrated with myself, and just kind of like laid there, started just like eating something just to kind of put into my body, which I left this out in that long portion of me talking, that when I was doing Kratom, I wasn't eating. I didn't eat anything. I've lost a significant amount of weight since being in South Carolina. I think when I came to South Carolina, I was probably like $140. At my peak in 2023, like the most I weighed was like 150 something, like 155. That was the most I ever weighed, ever. Because even when I was drinking, I never ate. I didn't eat. I would never eat. And then if I ate, I just threw it up, because I just wanted to be on an empty stomach. So I would eat and just throw up, and then keep drinking. And then again, the same pattern with Kratom, the same exact thing. So I lost a significant amount of weight. So today I needed to eat. So I ate, put some food in my body, and just kind of like stayed strong with it. And I took a bath, took an Epsom salt bath. Was just crying out to the Lord, man. I cried out to the Lord so much today. Kept watching some Kratom videos, put on some worship music, and just bawled my eyes out. And I don't know, I just kind of like, I just felt led to come out to like the woods. And I can't stay here at home, and I'm feeling too depressed. I'm feeling too down. Like I need to get out. And so I found some spirit strength within me to just kind of look up a place. It's like 30 minutes from my house. And just came out here, found this spot under this rock, and started praying, started reading some scriptures. And I was reading Hebrews 12 about the discipline from the Lord, and to run our race and just had a spirit-filled prayer. I was just praying in the spirit, man. And knowing that I'm being disciplined right now. Because if he wanted to snap his finger right now and just cure me and just not have any withdrawals or symptoms or... Alright, he can do it. He can do it. But this is discipline. And so I just asked the Father, hey, like, let me see it for what it is. And it's discipline because you love me. Because you love me. Because I'm a son. And give me the strength to run my race. So that's what I'm gonna do. So here I am. I'm day 2. I guess, I don't know if it's like day 1.5. I don't know. I'm just going to say day 2 because yesterday I guess if I went through withdrawal symptoms last night, I guess that's technically 1, right? So day 2, no kratom. Not even a little bit, just a taste. No, nothing. So I'm going to finish out this hike. And, see where the Lord takes me, man. Because I'm thinking about just not going home for the night. Just give my wife some space. You know, I got a couple brothers that are more than willing to probably let me stay over a night. Or I'll just sleep in my car. Done it before. Don't care. But, like, at the same time, it's like, why do that? You know, like, just... Don't run. Just go home. Go home, hug your wife, kiss your wife. Tell her you understand, that I understand, and that I'm not running from this. And that I understand where she's coming from, and I'm willing to do what it takes. And that I love her. And I'm sorry, deeply, deeply sorry. But I'm not going to just run. And that I need her. I need her. So, I guess that's what I might just do. Anyway, love y'all. I don't even know who I'm saying this for, because this is most likely for me anyway. But, so, Randy, love you. Father, I love you. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.